My boss went to Vermont, and I'm not even supposed to be here today. No, just kidding. It's Flame Trench. We got moon updates for you. We got Crew 10 updates for you. We got relativity updates. Where have they been? I don't know. We'll find out. Here's the Flame Trench coming at you.
And here we go. We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be normal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Traveling up. Roger, planet.
Water towers fly! Yes!
Tango down to nominal.
Fighting downside FT off. Bring in FT off. It's orange!
Orange 25! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage. Put that in the big bag,
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. Keep red. Sure. We don't need any more of these.
Okay. Welcome to this nice and cozy weekend Flame Trench. We're doing the Flame Trench today because yesterday there was just too many rockets launching. I mean, it's not a bad problem to have, but yeah, it's too many rockets. I mean, I don't know what to make of it. What do you guys make of this? That's pretty cool. That's not a bad problem to have. But anyway, how's everybody doing? I am EJ, your host. I stream on Twitch, but today they put me in charge of this. I think that's because there was nobody else to do it. Anyway, I have a very, 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 very bunch of special guests here with me today. So, teeing it up, we got me here, and also we have Max Evans, the NSF photographer. Max, hello, you out there?
Hello, I am here. Yeah, it has been an extraordinarily busy past few days, but here we are on a Saturday afternoon Flame Trench.
Dude, you forgot what day it was, didn't you?
I straight up did. It's been a long few days, and now we have
It has been a long few days. Yeah,
and now we have you hosting. So,
dude, so we've hit rock bottom. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yes, we have. We completely this is the full on peaked in high school stream.
Peaked in high school stream. All right.
I'm just kidding.
All right. Speaking of peaking in high school and awesome clarinets from high school, Ryan Weber, you're here as well. Hey. No, what and what? What's going on? So you guys know the drill. You guys can always ask questions at NASA Spaceflight. I will see them in the panel, and we have a bunch of interesting stuff to talk about today. I mean, guys, where do we even start? There's so much stuff. How about we start with, because what's behind me, that's pretty neat.
EJ coming to you from the moon.
Yeah. I am on the moon right now. That's exactly where I am. I'm not in a garage somewhere.
This is great. It wouldn't be an NSF stream if I wasn't muted in VMix when I went to say hi to everyone.
Oh, no.
Hi, everyone.
Wah, wah, wah. Sorry, I threw you off with the peaking in high school thing, didn't I?
What a way to start the Flame Trench, right?
Always.
Let's go.
Okay, so we got a lot of stuff. Okay, so you guys can hear Ryan, just to be absolutely sure, chat. Tell me what's up.
Looks like I'm 5x5 now at this point.
Are you good? Are you
good news?
All right. Good news, everyone.
Good news, everyone.
All right. So you know what? I'm just gonna clear up the support queue here real quick. Before we jump into it here. You had Space Pope up there with 10 Red Team memberships because Space Pope, right? You had Wilbo Baggins with 5 Red Team memberships, and then you have Space Pope again blessing the dang trench, right? And then on top of that, what else? Is that 50? Is that 50 Red Team? Shh. I don't know what we did, but thank you. It certainly wasn't because
what did we do for that? What did the three of us do to deserve that, right?
Yeah, what? Wilbo had another 10. And then just now, Wilbo had 10 red team memberships. Thank you very much. So, all right, cool. I got all the beginning support queue out of the way. I want to make sure, we acknowledge when people give us money. That's probably cool. Echo Deal had $5. Oops, all Rockets. Yeah, I know. Not a bad problem to have. So, guys, how about we start with moon updates? So
there's been quite a few with Blue Ghost, hasn't there?
Max, yeah, tell us your thoughts and feelings about this.
So we had a little bit of a scare where it seemed that we lost communication with Blue Ghost for a period of time. In reality, the temperature rose on as the sun rose, the temperature on board the lander and all of its systems rose. And as a precautionary measure, they essentially just recycled and reset the system and shut down some of its onboard payloads and systems to conserve temperature as much as possible. And they've already they only kept 2 payloads active during the power cycles of the 10 on board. But those 8 that were shut down were already completed. So it's already been a home run for Blue Ghost as a whole. For one, reaching the moon safely on all 4, and also with all the amazing footage we've seen from it, including the landing and the actual eclipse. But to have so far 8 of its 10 mission payloads on board being successful in doing what they're supposed to do, they're miles ahead of everybody. And Intuitive Machines, God bless them, and they've had not the best results. And we've also had the unfortunate incident with Mission 1 from iSpace. So yeah, it was getting a little bit toasty, but that was purely a precautionary matter to ensure that all of the onboard systems aboard Blue Ghost remain in an optimal state, and that obviously we do not want a lander cooking itself, because it gets very, very hot on the moon, and I want to say that's like 121 Celsius in the daytime on the moon, which lasts around 15 to 14 days. So obviously not something you want to have on your spacecraft.
So
yeah, go ahead.
So you're telling me they shut down because the thing got too hot? They shut down some of the secondary missions on it? Is that what's going on there?
Correct. A few Earth days after this began, the on board because all these systems on board could remain active for longer for each power cycle, and so they've met many of their mission milestones that they've had set up to this point, and it's so far, as said earlier, it's been nothing but a home run for them to this point. And Firefly as a whole, they're doing so well right now. And obviously, on top of this, they have Alpha out on the pad getting ready for flight over at Vandenberg. So they're just doing incredible things. As you can see, all the onboard footage and photos that we've seen coming back from the lander have been nothing short of spectacular, including all of the eclipse images that they released just yesterday. Absolutely. Is that the first time we've seen an eclipse from the moon's perspective? Ryan, EJ, help me out here.
I actually think so. Ryan, can you recall? Chat, what do you guys think? I don't remember this happening. Ryan?
I don't think we've ever seen it, especially not with a camera like that. I mean, maybe an orbiter might have caught it, maybe at some point, but I mean, you have to go dig and try to find that. But honestly, that is one of the coolest shots I've ever seen. Just because we saw it from our perspective. You see it on Earth. You see, the moon start to disappear. But you're seeing the sun disappear from the moon's perspective, which is like, okay, that's really cool. Like,
and the fact that this is so, it's one thing to get a picture of this from the ground. Like, say, if you're on Earth looking up at the moon, you can get this picture pretty easily from like even just a basic point and shoot camera. But that photo that we were just looking at was taken from a camera on board the freaking lander, which is crazy enough. And to have enough, I guess, detail and pixels in the sensor to either crop in that much, or if they have that focal length available to them, is remarkable. I mean, obviously, since I believe Blue Ghost is the first successful lunar landing from the U.S. since Apollo 17 in 1972. And we've had quite a few attempts here, just even in the last 12 or 13 months between iSpace, Intuitive Machines, and now Blue Ghost. Blue Ghost is the only one to have landed on all fours, and they are still undergoing mission tasks. Like it's absolutely remarkable. It could not be going better for them currently, and the fact that they were able to power cycle a lot of their systems to conserve power and also save the lander from any high temperatures, so it doesn't cool itself or cook itself, I should say. Like it could not be going any better for them realistically.
I mean, and not only Max, not only it's like, can it not cool itself, but the lunar surface is basically in a vacuum. There's trace amounts of atmosphere there, not anything useful. It's not like they could put an air conditioner on the side and just convect off any heating problems. The heat stays in that thing. That you have to find a way to shed all that heat, because you can't do it with an air conditioner, right? Like that's
correct.
It's pretty darn impressive, and it can't be understated how difficult a mission like this actually is. It's not easy to do, but they seem to got it under control,
And if anything, of all of the landers that have tried to land on the surface, like in the last 12 to 14, 15 months, they made it look easy.
They did.
They made it look absolutely like it couldn't have gone better. Yeah.
Holy cow.
It was so smooth.
And I mean, something like this, well, next lander they make, find a way to put some sort of heat exchanger or whatever on it. I guess with I don't even know, trying to think what to do, but I mean, it helps to, make a better lander next time around, and they land it, and maybe they can put more stuff on it and it won't overheat because, they learned how to control it a little bit better. So it's one of those things. It's just learning. And the fact that they nailed it on their first try, it's the first ever commercial lander. It's probably one of the coolest missions that's going on right now, if not the coolest. It really is. Just because of all the accomplishments and achievements. And the shot of the lander sitting on top of the shot of the lander of itself with its shadow, and then you parallel that to Apollo shots is just it's just perfect, honestly.
Actually, I'm gonna go over to questions here for a second. I was wondering. I asked Chat. Has this ever happened before? It did happen on Apollo 12 and Surveyor 3. So this would be the third one. But I do believe Apollo 12 saw it while it was on orbit. Apollo 12 did land it landed at Surveyor 3 for people that want to know.
Yep.
That was pretty cool, right? But I mean, Max, you'll understand this. Like, they didn't have the same cameras they have now. That's for sure.
No, camera technology has certainly made bounds in the last 50 to 60 years, especially when it comes to spacecraft. I don't know. Have we ever seen? Did it even grab photos of the eclipse? I don't even remember. I don't recall seeing any.
I've never recalled seeing any pictures, but Chad was helping me out there. Anyway, so we talked about Blue Ghost. What about Intuitive Machines? What do you guys think? Do you guys think this thing tipped over? Or did it kind of come down sideways, or did it land on the rim of the crater and tip over? What do you think?
So Scott Manley actually did a really good video breaking down imagery from the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, and also just from what we've seen data-wise, both from the stream and also from what Intuitive Machines has released. At the moment, it looks like the lander was coming in with too much horizontal velocity, and when it hit the ground, it just one of the legs broke off and kicked over, and it ended up falling into a crater. Imagery that we have seen from the LRO, or the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, shows like a pretty long disturbance in the soil before the crater that it crashed in, which is obviously indicative of the engine firing toward the surface, but it's moving like much horizontally. And of course, this lander, with how it looks top heavy, but I'm sure it's engineered to not be top heavy, but I'm sure just with the way that it's built, and with the loads that the landing legs have been designed to take, it probably the force that it hit the ground with was probably way too much for them to cope with. One of them snapped. One or two of them snapped and it ended up falling back onto its side for a second time, unfortunately. It's unfortunate. I believe all but one of the payloads on board was expected to fail immediately, although we did get some brief imagery from the lander, or the lander, the tiny little rover that was on the side itself. There was, I think, one or two images released from that because they were able to tap into that power-wise. But obviously, with it laying on its side, they're not able to deploy it. Yeah, but it is a pretty unfortunate situation. But hopefully for IM-3 or future missions, these first two have served up enough data for them to correct whatever systems on board did end up actually going wrong, in order to land, I guess, on all 6 or all 7 legs, or however many they have, without falling over.
I believe they got 6. I mean, Max, you're talking about a horizontal velocity component. That sounds like the hazard relative navigation system needs some dialing in. For the people that don't know, the Intuitive Machines lander is using terrain relative and hazard relative navigation. What that is basically a camera that's pointed downwards that a computer is getting pictures from, and the computer is trained on where not to land.
Yes.
It sounds like they might need to tweak a couple of things there.
Yeah, but for all of these landers, though, I think it's worth noting that anything under the Eclipse program, the budget that all of these lander manufacturers are working with is like a tenth of what Apollo had to work with, like way back in the 60s, both for Surveyor or any of the uncrewed landers. These surveyors were built specifically to test the viability of a crewed spacecraft landing on the surface of the moon in general. So the fact that we have gotten this far with just Firefly alone, with the amount of budget they have in comparison, I think is a win in and of itself. Good Lord, what is English?
All right.
I'm great.
You okay there?
I'm doing great.
You sure?
I'm still tired. I'm still tired from the last few days. Give me a break.
Chat, we're all cooked from covering launches.
There has
yesterday
been
was
a lot
nuts.
happening. Yeah,
there was so much going on.
So, we are cooked, and as you can tell, probably from my face, right, it is quite literally cooked from the Florida sunshine here. But we have hopefully more coming up with IM-3, maybe around this time next year if they stick to the same schedule they had for IM-1 and IM-2. But they certainly have some work to do in order to actually land successfully. But Blue Ghost has been providing probably enough to make up for all of the landers so far that haven't delivered.
Mm-hmm. Dude, yeah, it's truly crazy. I mean, I think that was a good point touching on Eclipse, Max, because the Eclipse missions were designed as very high risk, very high reward, right? For relative or very low risk, very high reward, excuse me.
Correct.
So like these missions are not, we're basically Zerg rushing the moon. If you get that, good job. Good for you.
I want to play StarCraft.
Yeah, I know. Identify target. Anyway, all right. I'm gonna go to a question here from Creative Bites, and I'm gonna put that up on the screen. Do you think the lateral movement was caused by thruster failure, Ryan? Do you think they could make a lower, wider craft to improve stability?
They could change their design. That's totally possible. But I mean, I think the design will still work. I mean, you have to remember, at some point or another, we're gonna have to land. We're gonna have to be able to land on other celestial objects, something that's tall and somewhat spindly. Yes, that's Starship. Well, you're gonna have to figure out how to land that one. So you might as well try to figure out how to land the IM lander. So that's what I say.
Yeah. Okay, I got another one, Max. I'm going to shoot this one off to you. What about Hakuto R, the Hakuto RM2 mission? Is that still on schedule for landing on the moon? Do you know?
It is, but we have to wait because of the flight path it took. So rewind a little bit. Mission 2 launched with Blue Ghost, but because of the performance differentials in what each spacecraft could do, iSpace's mission 2 had to take a much more energy conservative trajectory, and it actually will not be getting to the moon until June. So we will have to wait a little bit longer to see how mission 2 does. Hopefully, much better than mission 1. But the onboard engines and thrusters that were on Blue Ghost allowed it to perform a TLI, or a translunar injection burn, which is why it was able to get to the moon so much quicker relative to other landers. IM2 was also able to get there, but it was on a time crunch because that was powered using methalox and liquid oxygen. So you have that you were on the clock for boil off with any cryogenic propellants. So, but Blue Ghost had its onboard thrusters. That's why it was able to get there as fast as it did, and also enter orbit for as long as it was before eventually coming down. But mission 2 will not be getting to the moon until early June. So we still have a little bit left to go on that front. So we will have to keep our eyes peeled.
Yeah, okay. So it looks like we got some time for Hakuto R. And then this last question really isn't a question, but I wanted to put it on here, just because it says, Clark says you can't park here. Yep. You can't park here. You can't park here. You're in the crater.
Can't park here.
It's a red zone. It's an orange zone. You can't park here. Clark, that was awesome. Sorry.
No
I'm the host.
In a red zone.
Yeah. The red zone is for loading and unloading. There's no parking in the red zone.
Only.
Oh, good Lord.
Such a good movie.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. I'm the host. I could put stuff on there. I could put cool stuff down there if you guys.
You are quite literally running the show, EJ. This is your show.
I think Carson is running the show, but it's pretty good. All right, so it's crazy that we have all these moonlanders going, but how about we talk about what happened like the last couple of days? Like, we keep saying like, oh, yesterday was crazy. Ryan, were you keeping track of everything that was happening yesterday? There were launches coming at us hot and heavy.
There were 3 SpaceX launches from their 3 pads within 13 hours of themselves or something along those lines.
That's absolutely nutty.
Okay, Crew 10. I don't remember the Starlink mission off the top of my head. It's 12- something.
12-16.
And then 12-16, and then Transporter 13. So just kind of fired them off one after another. 3 launches in 13 hours. From all 3 Falcon pads. I mean, it's SpaceX. Is it surprising at this point they can do that? I mean,
no, it's pretty awesome. Yeah. It makes me really happy. I don't know about you guys.
Absolutely.
And it's always cool to see another crewed mission go, another ride share, and I mean, it's Starlink. Starlink's still fun,
Starlink is going to Starlink.
Yeah, Starlink is going to Starlink.
I can't get enough of that first photo from Crew. So that image looked to have been taken from on top of the Starship Tower over at LC-39A, and this mission launched around 20-ish minutes before sunset. So that's why the sun is so low on the horizon and almost directly behind Falcon 9. But this top-down perspective over at Pad A is unbeatable. Like, we can only dream about this perspective, but Crew 10 also happened yesterday. It was supposed to launch on Wednesday, but due to a hydraulic issue in what appeared to be one of the transporter erector clamps toward the very top of the head, which is what actually holds onto Falcon 9 up until the last 2.5 or 3 minutes of the count, they were having a hydraulic issue, being able to not being able to retract one of the arms. And of course, with it being a NASA crewed mission, there are also NASA engineers and NASA consultants that are looking over all of the data and all of the systems. And somebody on one side said, I guess that issue is too much to work with, and they stood down for that attempt on Wednesday, which sucks because I was going for a lunar transit shot on Wednesday evening, which would have been glorious if it had worked out, but that's just a personal gripe. But obviously they fixed the issue, and they were yesterday evening at 7:03 p.m. local time here on the East Coast. And they should be docking to the space station tomorrow, before being able to hand off and send Crew 9 home on the 19th. EJ's Carson, what are you guys cooking up in the back channel there? What are we looking at here? Is this tracking footage from Crew 10?
Yeah. It's a little bit of tracking footage. Wait a minute. I watched the post-flight press conference that was really late last night. Didn't they say they were docking today? I'm confused.
Are they docking today? I thought it was tomorrow.
Dude, I think it's today. I'm pretty sure.
I'm sorry, it is today. So it's technically tomorrow UTC, but it's tonight Eastern. I completely misread that. That's my fault.
No, it's all
but
good.
Yep, it's tonight. It is tonight.
Yeah, guys, I actually wanted to show like this booster that flew Crew 10 wasn't actually like particularly new. Particularly old, excuse me. It was brand new. This was only its second flight, but I think SpaceX, Max, I mean, you tell me here. I think SpaceX upped their optics game here. Some of these landing shots are just out of control. That booster was like, oh man, look at that thing. Look at that.
For oh, go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
I was gonna
Ryan,
say that's gonna be one of the last time. It's gonna be one of the last times we see a Falcon 9 possibly land on that pad.
That's right. SpaceX is getting rid of it. They're letting the lease expire because they want to build pads around Slick 40, right? That's what I've been hearing.
40, and then there's
and
also
39A
plans
as
for
well.
39A.
Oh,
That's gonna be the last. I mean, it'll be bittersweet to see those go because of course they've been landing there. But I mean, come on, seeing a Falcon 9 land with either the FSS or the crew tower at 40 in the background.
yeah, I'm kind of about that life.
I'm good with that.
just on this front, all of the media's cameras will hopefully be a lot closer to the LZ this time, as opposed to LZ1 and LZ2 as they are now over on Cape Side. So just selfishly, that seems like a much better prospect. But that is on the line. They landed at LZ1 yesterday. Also worth noting, there was what caught some attention yesterday is that panel that came off on the left hand side of the screen after Dragon separation. I believe John Edwards came on X yesterday or this morning, saying that this apparently wasn't a big deal, and that this issue would be resolved for the next Dragon flight. Go ahead, Ryan.
It's, if I remember correctly, it's an insulation panel or a piece of insulation that comes off of the second stage adapter that goes to the trunk. And as long as it stays on and everything up until separation, it's fine. If it separates after separation, it's fine. So, yeah.
So that, per the press conference, boys, that panel is actually something that's it's an insulative cover for the top of the liquid oxygen dome on Falcon 9. Now, if it's a regular cargo mission, there's a payload attachment fitting up there, and that thing just kind of sits in that, it comes off, and kind of, you never see this kind of stuff happening, right? Yep. Because the PAF is in the way. But since Dragon has a special PAF that's kind of ringed, right, when they separated, this panel came off. Now, Max, you were right. They talked about it in the press conference, and John Edwards who's a flight controller for SpaceX. He talked about it more on X. Everything up. Anyway, basically what that thing does is it's an insulator that's designed to be on top of the LOX dome. And getting that thing to adhere to something that gets really, really cold and really, really hot and really, really cold again, and then really, really cold and really, really hot in the vacuum, it makes it really hard to like mechanically adhere to the top of the dome. The dome gets really cold, it contracts, it gets really warm, it expands, and that's why we saw those foam chunks fly everywhere. Now, SpaceX did say that's not a big deal. They said they'll like duct tape it more next time. But yeah,
speed tape or speed tape.
Or speed tape.
Speed tape.
I said more speed tape. It'll work.
Oh, more fine. Speed tape.
Yeah. It'll work.
So, yeah, I mean, the Crew 10 is having, a couple of things here and there. There's that piece that came off. But overall, on the whole, it's pretty good. But it seems like Dragon's toilet has toilet-inted again.
Toilet. Just to pull an EJ-ism.
Yeah.
This might not appear to be like the most alarming issue to some people. Spacecraft, especially with Dragon or any capsule holding 4 people, a toilet not working over a longer period of time is kind of a big deal. especially on a place like the International Space Station, where at times you can have upwards of 13 people on board. And if you only have one functioning toilet on board, that can cause some major problems, either health issue wise for a station, or just one of that one functioning system possibly being overloaded, or having it subjected to, I guess it's more prone to failure, and also just causes congestion aboard the crew in terms of who can use it and when. But only having one toilet for a number of people is alarming. Having no toilet operational on a spacecraft is really not good. But as we know, Dragon should be docking tonight, so hopefully this issue can be resolved once they dock. But in the meantime, SpaceX has asked that the crew aboard Dragon do not use the toilet currently. Actually, I don't think we have mentioned the crew, the astronauts yet, have we? We have not mentioned the crew yet.
Do you want to?
I mean, it's worth mentioning. So obviously we have Commander Anne McLean, we have pilot Nicole Ayers, both with NASA. On the mission specialist side for JAXA, we have Takuya Onishi, and then for Roscosmos we have Kirill Peskov. So they're the ones currently aboard Dragon Endurance, which will be hopefully docking to the station actually not too long from now. And once that happens, hopefully they can either get that issue resolved either with an onboard fix, or worst case scenario they have to do an EVA. But I'm sure no astronaut is going to complain about doing an EVA.
I don't think that EVA to fix the toilet. And Ryan, do you?
I thought I heard someone trying to talk.
Oh no, I was just getting out of the way to blow your nose, but no.
Hey, don't throw it in the toilet; it might clog.
True.
I never mind.
Hey, that happens on planes.
I'm not going to say anything. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going there.
He's an aircraft mechanic after all.
No.
Yep.
You don't want me to go there, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, let's not.
No.
Sounds messy.
But I don't think they're going to... No, I don't think they'd EVA for it. I don't think they need to. I mean, they'll try to find a way to fix it. Luckily, the ISS has facilities for them to use, so they just got to get to docking and...
Now, fellas,
there's other ways, but
I don't think this is the first time this has happened with Dragon's toilet. I'm pretty sure I heard some whispers during Inspiration 4 of there being a leak with the toilet. So I don't know if this happened because they tried to mitigate the problems from Inspiration 4, if this is a different problem, same problem, maybe they're on septic. You don't flush certain things down the toilet when you're on septic. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Somebody laughed. Somebody laughed. Somebody out there's going, ha ha ha. All right. So yeah, we don't know. I mean, either way, Crew 10 seems to be going pretty well, right? A couple of bumps in the road there, but negligible problems. Everything seems to be going well, which is what we want to see, right? That's what we want to see. That's very,
Indeed.
very important.
And also, when they do end up docking and the crew of 4 is able to join the current crew on the International Space Station, that will have the opportunity to finally bring Crew 9 home, and as well as Butch and Sunny. Everyone has been waiting quite a while to have them come home, because obviously they were supposed to be up there for, what was it, 12 days? 8 or 12 days originally, and it's been 9, almost 10 months. So I'm sure they enjoy any amount of time they get in orbit, and they've had quite the extended vacation now. But a successful docking of Crew 10 will finally open up the window for them to come home. So that will be the main headline when that happens. And I believe currently they are scheduled to undock on the 19th.
Yep, they're going for a quick overlap, right? Because they have logistic problems because someone dropped the Cygnus. Did you guys hear about this?
Oh, shoot. So you're saying somebody was down with the Cygnus?
No, dude, that took 5 seconds.
Oh, come on. That was good. You had to. That was good. Come on.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Carson. Thank you. So, guys, if you don't know, Northrop Grumman was shipping Cygnus down to the Cape, and somebody dropped it. Somebody like absolutely dropped Cygnus, and so that is they got to inspect it. They got to make sure it's good. So they moved some supplies over to the next SpaceX Dragon mission, right? And now there's the logistics for going to the ISS is a little weird over the next couple of days. So this is like usually, Max, you were saying this a little bit earlier. Usually, like they do like a week handover, but this was they're trying to condense it as much as possible, right?
Yep. I think this is actually a record short handover period. Like I think I'm not quite sure what it is normally. Up a week, but I don't have the exact figures on me. But
it's usually a week.
Yeah, around a week, and this is over a period of days, like 2 to 3.5 days. So that is a very quick handover, and obviously because of Cygnus doing down with the Cygnus things, that again.
just whoops.
What?
Right, Ryan?
Just
Ryan?
Whoops. What?
Are you alive?
Yeah. I just said, it's whoops. I dropped it. Sorry.
Oops. Oops.
Dude, you work in the aerospace industry. Does this happen? Do people like drop the toilet if you have to replace? Oh, I broke it. Sorry, let's put it in anyway.
I mean,
Starship
things happen.
SN
You drop things. I mean,
Starship SN9 would like a word.
It definitely happens. You drop things, and then it's like, now I gotta replace that, or it's not great, but it happens.
Has anybody like ever dropped like a CFM 56? Like, I dropped the motor. Sorry.
No, not while I've been at work, but I have heard stories of CF56 being dropped. I've heard stories of CF6s, even GE90s off of 777s.
Oh, that's bad.
Getting dropped.
Wait, what?
Yeah, those. Yeah, I mean, it happens. Sometimes it's not even really human error. Sometimes it's a mechanical failure of whatever chain or hoist system you're using to lower the engine down. Sometimes it fails and the engine drops. And yeah, it's not great because like a GE90 is like $40 million. So it's not great.
It's not great, Bob.
Not great, Bob.
Not great, Bob. But it happens.
Not great. Yeah. All right.
Accidents happen. It's one of those things. You can't be perfect.
I mean,
I remember they also mislocated an NSRB segment from Vega. Remember that?
Yeah. It wasn't an SRB
Remember
segment. They threw a stage in the trash.
It was literally found by a dumpster or something. Yeah.
They found. Yep. They threw flight hardware in the trash.
Literal flight hardware.
Yep.
Accidents happen.
All right. Cool.
Crispy in the back channel.
The support queue is going off. I'm going to clear the support queue. This is a little mini game that I play when I host this stuff. I am going to lightning round this stuff. We got Echo Deal with a $5 super chat. Oops. All rockets. Yeah, that's not a bad problem to have. It had a plethora of Falcon 9s. We had an Electron. There's more Falcon 9s to come. It's amazing. We got a crew docking. It's amazing. It's awesome. Thanks for that, Echo. I appreciate it. So the next one coming from Simon. I got one. Yay. Watching. You got, a store purchase. Here we go. Watching from literally week 1 of NSF on YouTube. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Simon or Simone. I don't know how to say the S with the squiggly line over it. I'm sorry. This is the part where people that speak other language start messing with me. Like, hey, EJ, say this. And I'm like, Reichkes Lustverfahren or something like that.
Your what hurts?
Yeah, sorry, I sneezed. All right. We got Phil with 2 pounds. It's all going off. Love the flame trench. Thank you for being here, Phil. Appreciate you, man. Wilbo with 10 red teams. 10 red teams like a boss. Dropping that 10-pack in there. And then dropping another 10-pack in here. Max, we got to drink all this. Just 10 packs. We got 10 packs. We got 20 packs. There's another 20-pack here from Wilbo.
I'll be right over.
Drink. Oh, yeah, dude. Come on up. It's a party. Right? And then Wilbo with 1 red team membership there. And then Mr. Mike Alpha Tango Sierra, Mr. Mats, dropping in 50 red team memberships. We're not done. This is number 50. I said 50 memberships, not 49 and a half. No, what are you talking? What are you talking about? This last red membership's not so bad, man. You take 80 from 200 and we make a deal. Subtract 80 from 2. No one knows what I'm talking about. Cool, we are moving on. All right. Steve Kalovic, $5 super chat. Oh man, seems like a poopy situation. Oh.
Now, did they actually say poopy or a different word?
No, he said a different word.
Oh, okay.
And it's like up on the screen now too. I should probably get rid of it. And then Drunar with 5 Canadian here. Hopefully the spare burst disc for Dragon wasn't going on Cygnus. I don't think so. Because the toilet problem wasn't a thing. So maybe, if anything, it's probably going to fly up on another Dragon. On the resupply Dragon. I think it's SpaceX 32. But anyway, thank you guys for the support. Let's see. Do we have questions? The questions are mostly just people saying stuff like it's a poopy situation. That's the question queue. All right. This is
nice. Yeah.
It's true.
It's because I'm here, isn't it?
It's not a great situation.
It's not great. No, it's not.
But ideal. Actually, Ryan, it's cool to know that, like, it's obviously not cool you're dropping a multi-million-dollar spacecraft or a $40 million engine or something, but it's interesting that does happen. Oh, Roxy, here we go.
I mean, what, you don't drop stuff when working on your truck or anything?
I don't want to talk about it.
Hey, EJ, do you have how many spare 10 mil sockets do you have?
Right.
Dude, I have 10 mil sockets on my
Oh god, he's actually going to get them. Oh no.
Like it's
why'd you take the camera away?
Cut away.
What is this? I got
Is that your break in case of emergency socket?
Yes, I have an extra 10 mil. Okay. I have an extra 10 mil. It's it's Cletus 10 mil.
Smart man there.
How many do you have? Is that a freaking Cletus 10 mil?
Yeah, of course.
That? Very good. I approve.
Of course.
Quality.
He has good merch. We have good merch. Just figured it makes sense.
It does.
It just works.
It just works.
Okay. All right. So, shall we move on? Are we good?
I think we are. Yes.
All right. We'll move on. So, guys, this week, Relativity. Some company we really haven't heard much about, except for whispers of bad things going on. Relativity had a huge update to what they're doing with Terran R. It seems that Relativity has not abandoned their kind of 3D printing breakthrough that they did with Terran 1. They're still using it in some capacity, but it seems like they're kind of moving to a different type of design here. What are we talking about here? I'm seeing like billet barrels there, billet aluminum barrels. What do we got?
So it looks like it's aluminum barrels with stringers. They're actually using stringers welded on rather than doing a kind of. It's still partially like the. Oh man, I forgot what it's called, but it's the same kind of square-like structure that even Vulcan uses.
It's a billet orthogrid.
Yeah,
I think they're using 7000 series aluminum lithium, which is pretty much industry standard. Or maybe they were 2195. Either way, it's a much more conventional approach, right, Ryan?
Yeah, and then they're adding stringers to certain areas. Kind of like what SpaceX does and other companies do. You just put an extra piece of basically aluminum, and it's not easy to do it, but you can weld it onto the aluminum, and then it provides a little bit extra structural strength and whatnot. They've gone that kind of route. It looks like they're still doing their 3D printing on their ANR, which is it's a nice engine. Gas generator, methalox engine. They're gonna the layout on this rocket is all I'm gonna say is weird. They have 13 engines.
Yeah, it's a little strange.
And there's a box of 4. They're like 10, what is it? 9 of them gimbal, and then a box of 4 stay stationary. Yep. It's weird.
It's a funky looking rocket.
Yeah.
Like it has 13 engines on the first stage, which if you take one look at any renders of that thrust puck, and it immediately is just like it's throwing off alarm bells left and right because of how funky it looks. It looks like OG Falcon 1 but like, or Falcon 1, Falcon 9, but like with just more engines packed into the same size structure. And then you have like the slight diameter change going from stage 1 to stage 2. And then of course you have the grid fins on the first stage as well, because stage 1 is meant to be reusable. And then you have the very short landing legs on the base of the first stage, which
I don't know, Bob. I don't know about that one.
yeah, it looks that looks like it could be just very top heavy and very unstable unless they have a way to secure it to either whatever landing vessel they opt to go with, or whatever landing zone they opt to either integrate over at LC-16 or else at the Cape that they can find land. But hey, it's the same approach that we are seeing a ton of launch providers make nowadays, not just here in the U.S. but abroad, mostly in China. But Falcon 9 is the benchmark when it comes to when it comes to this class of rocket. So many are trying to reach them. Not many have gotten there yet. On top of Terran R, there's also Neutron with Rocket Lab, and I feel like there's also one more that I'm missing. New Glenn, obviously, but that's more of a Falcon Heavy competitor.
Stoke.
Yep. What? Stoke?
Well, yeah,
Stoke
there's
with
Stoke.
Nova. Yes, Stoke with Nova. How could I forget? Go ahead, Ryan.
Well, what? Because I'm trying to remember the exact payload capacity for this thing to orbit.
It's like 33,500 kilos.
So this is about. I think this is a expended Falcon 9.
Okay.
They were shooting for 23.5 metric tons.
Yeah,
reusable.
So it's a little bit more than Falcon 9, because I think Falcon 9 is like 19.5, 20 right now.
You can do 23.5.
I think that's ASDS.
Okay.
Because those are that's the Starlink missions. So
Falcon 9 can do 23.5 expendable. It can do 23.5. Yeah, but expended, not drone ship.
Yeah.
So, but like, I mean, Falcon 9 set the standard, and someone's just trying to make it a little bit better. One of the things you can see here is part of the thing of trying to reduce the mass so you can actually use this payload is non-deployable grid fins. They're basically doing a super heavy. So yeah, you've got non-deployable grid fins on there. Second stage has got a vacuum version of the Aeon R engine. It looks like they're gonna do some aero strikes, and stuff like that. So people are trying to replicate how Falcon 9 and Super Heavy are working, because it works.
It works.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It works.
It's the benchmark, dude. What do you guys? All right, I'm going to ask you guys this question. What do you guys think about this? So I went through those relativity videos, right? And it was a 42-minute long presentation. So a couple of things that I noticed. All right, first thing that I noticed, the domes. They tried to 3D print Terran R domes initially using the same method as Terran 1, and they said they couldn't get it right. They couldn't scale that technology correctly, which is why they've switched to billet domes, billet barrels now. Believe it or not, guys, they actually don't make the domes. There they are. They don't make them in-house. They are from Arianespace. Those domes and the fairing on Terran R are from Arianespace, which is very interesting. It's very interesting that you're seeing subcontracting out. What do you guys think about that? Ryan, what do you think?
I wonder if once they get Terran R up and running, like they really, really get it going, I wonder if they'd try to switch over to everything in-house. If they really, get it going, actually get the cadence they want to, because I think they were talking, 50 to 100 launches a year is what they wanted to do by cap.
They're trying to scale with a horizontally integrated company, with Arianespace being one of the horizontal integrations.
See if that works.
Okay, all right. You came to the same conclusion. I'm not trying to talk crap about Arianespace, right?
Like, I'm not trying
to. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it pays off.
It means that they need to put a lot of leverage on making reuse of Terran R an immediate accomplishment, because of how much work is being sent off to third-party manufacturers. they are not on their own timeline. They are at the whim of those producing those parts. So if they
That's
are,
what I
if they,
mean.
for instance, if they make it a goal to land the very first Terranar first stage booster and they don't, they might be out a long time if they don't have backup hardware ready to go for its second flight. So it's a bold strategy, Cotton. It's a
Yeah,
very
that's
bold
what-
strategy, Cotton.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of nuts.
I mean, we've seen a ton of footage of their ANR engine testing over at Stennis. We've seen now, obviously, these newly released pictures from their HQ in Terranar construction. But like, they wanted to launch Terranar this year, didn't they? I think it was either this year or 26. And we are already coming off the 2-year anniversary flight of the one and only Terran 1.
Yep.
So, I mean, they've made a ton of progress over at 16, and they have a lot more to go. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of this, I love them as a company, but a lot of this seems optimistic. Seems very optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. Ryan, you're muted. Keep going.
Yeah, I was muted,
Oh, no.
muted because I was typing and I didn't want the keyboard sounds to go through the mic. But
Chat does this to us. If we sit there,
Yes.
we don't mute the mic and we tap, they do that. Oh, you tapping it, somebody's tapping it. But if you you do this now, you run into the muted thing. See, chat, the hoops we jumped through for you.
Right, the hoops we jump.
Anyway, Ryan, keep going, man.
But they have a lot of work to go. Not only because they still have to build their HIF. They still have to build the TE, which is I'm assuming they're using. They have to build the pad, which they're building a flame trench. They're getting there. There's still a lot of work to do.
Oh, he said the word.
You said the thing.
I said the word. I said a thing. Ah.
He said the words.
But like they have a long ways to go. Based off what I can see, I don't think it's not going this year. Hopefully, I mid next year maybe. I don't know. I really don't know how they gave this whole update, but they're like in and around their critical design review, so they're still finalizing a lot of stuff and still testing a lot of stuff. Yeah, you can see they're kind of starting on that tank farm. You can see, I mean, they've dug through that flame trench. They've got the ramp up to the pad. They've got part of the pad built. And of course, they're literally just starting some of the stuff for their HIF for it. And it's funny how small Terran 1 stuff behind it is. It's kind of hilarious.
Right?
The Terran 1 pad is just sitting there currently. It's tiny by comparison. And it's also worth mentioning that Terran R, by comparison to Terran 1, is enormous. It's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a Falcon 9 competitor. It's not a small vehicle, that's for sure.
Yep.
I mean, it's basically Relativity's going from Falcon 1 to Falcon 9 in a lot of ways. But they only flew Terran 1 once, and it wasn't successful. I mean, it was pretty successful. I mean, it didn't fully get to orbit, but they got pretty far in that mission. But I still think they should have kept going with it while they went with Terran R, but they threw all their chips into Terran R. And of course, as part of that, because we had been hearing, I think there were rumbling and stuff like that, they got a massive investment, and there's a new CEO.
Yeah,
so which was kind of a surprise.
The chips didn't fall where they wanted to, huh? Ryan, Tim Ellis is not the CEO anymore. Who is? You guys are like this.
I thought you were going to say it.
No, I was gonna tee it up to you. Do you guys actually know who the new CEO is?
You know, I said it, and then I'm trying to remember his name off the top of my head. He used
Eric
to be
Schmidt.
He used to be CEO Google. So,
Eric Schmidt. Yeah. I'm not a businesser, right? Like, not a very good one.
Businesser.
Yep. Yeah, you want somebody to speak good English, find a languager, okay? No, I'm no business guy, but you know, the pivot to Terran R after one, you know, very, very useful data wise failed Terran 1 flight seems to not be the right move, and that seems to have resulted in a hostile takeover. Am I looking at this right? Like, I think Eric Schmidt invested in everything, and am I reading too much into this? Maybe not. I just don't understand. Go ahead.
I don't know if I don't know if hostile would be the right word to go by it, but it's alarming. And also, I think he hasn't been in charge, at least in a CEO position, since like what, 2013, 2014?
2011.
And this is the first time he's 2011.
Yeah, man.
And so the time he's stepping back into that role since, and that wasn't even for any aerospace company. It was for a tech company, in which maybe run the same. They may be run way different, and timelines are way different. It's certainly a head scratcher, and there's been a lot to head scratch about over the last year or so. But this is the biggest update we've had in quite a while.
Yeah,
and of course we wish them all the best. But we still are left scratching our heads a little bit because there's still a long way to go.
I wish them all the best, but I'm not sure how you're going to scale to the numbers that they want with a horizontally integrated company like that. I mean, I would love nothing more than to be proven wrong. Please do it.
With all of these launch providers moving to a mid-sized rocket like a Falcon 9 competitor, the Falcon 9, before we know it, is not going to be here anymore, and that entire market is, in theory, going to move all the way to Starship, because Starship can do more than Falcon 9 for a fraction of the cost, in theory, once it's in service.
Okay.
So it's a big question mark as to when these launch providers can actually bring these rockets to service certified, and where Falcon 9 will be in that time, let alone Starship, because the biggest question mark in all of this, or the two, are how long is Falcon 9 going to remain in service, and two, when is Starship going to become fully operational? So
I think if Stoke and Relativity have success and they're able to get contracts, I think they'll be fine. And I think they'll still be able to get contracts. Assuming the rockets work, they've got the funding, they keep going, I think they'll be fine, because Falcon 9 does a lot that Starship even can't do right now and won't be able to do for a while. Like, I don't know, take crew to the ISS or take crew to a space station. Starship's going to be incredibly hard to do something that with, because the sheer mass that it has. It's kind of hard to dock to something that's smaller than it. It can present some problems. So it's a lot easier to just use a capsule. And, well, there's Falcon 9 to do that. And then when it comes to if you want to put a payload that's, straight into GEO or something like that, I mean, and it's a smaller one, I mean, you can still use these smaller rockets. Well, you could probably use Starship, depending on, the payload and whatnot. Starship might need a refuel in order to pull that off. And that takes time. And of course, it's more money that a company's going to have to spend, because I've always wondered how, Starship, yeah, it's great and all, and it's going to be cheap to do a single launch. How is SpaceX going to charge for refuels? How are they going to do that? Like, how are you charging for refuels to other orbits?
They're not. They're going to charge for refilling.
Refilling.
Thanks.
You got to use the official language.
Okay, for refilling to other orbits, but like it's one of those things. It's like how that of course is going to add to the cost, because you're also having to talk about using up the depots and stuff like that. I honestly still think smaller rockets like that will still have more than enough market to go with. Because Starship is not the be all end all. As much as it's really, really cool, it's definitely not the be all end all. Yeah.
Do you think that? I mean, everybody's making Falcon 9 competitors right now, dudes. Do you think someday we'll see Starship competitors? If down the road, like, oh no, my Starship is smaller, it's better than yours. Like,
I mean, the amount of resources needed to make Falcon 9 better are one thing, but you need almost an exponentially amount more to make a Starship competitor. And the only ones that could potentially be in a boat to do that would be Blue Origin with maybe a bigger version of New Glenn down the line, maybe New Armstrong, maybe. So that will take a lot more time and a lot more resources and a lot more. Go ahead, AJ.
I was going to say, how do you know about that?
It's been talked about.
Has it?
Name's been tossed around. It's been tossed around. This is all hypothetical. We're in a hypothetical
No, I'm just messing with you. We know.
I was like, what? Like, I'm not talking about anything. Oh my god. Okay.
Sorry. Chat went off too. They said New Armstrong. Yep. That could be. Yeah. I mean, I want to see that. I want to see that. What do you think about Project Jarvis? Like, we're on the subject. What do you think? You guys think they're trying to build a Starship competitor? I mean, maybe. Who knows?
Or at least some type of reusable second stage or something along those lines. I mean, the thing is why not? Why not make a reusable second stage?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things. Is like, why not try? I mean, if it doesn't end up working out with the size of the rocket that you had, then it doesn't end up working out. But if you have the money, you have the capital, you have the engineers, try it. See if it works. It's one of the things that's like, with reusable rockets, it's like, yeah, you could go ahead and just make an expendable rocket. I mean, rockets, yeah, it's rocket science, but you could go ahead, throw together an expendable rocket and try to get stuff into orbit. But if you have the capability, if you think you can do it, try to make something reusable. You'll save money in the long term. SpaceX has proven it. As much as people doubted it to begin with, SpaceX has proven you save money in the long run when you reuse, especially reuse fairings, reuse boosters, you reuse all that stuff. You save money. And you can also get a high flight cadence because you don't have to build a new vehicle every single time you have to launch. Granted, they have to build a new second stage every time they have to launch, but it's not like having to build a new first stage with 9 engines, 9 Merlins, and then every single time. So I always say when it's like, why not try? See if you can do it, and if you can try to compete, do it. SpaceX is ahead, and a lot of people are trying to catch up.
Blue's definitely got deep pockets. They definitely have the resources to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, speaking of awesome resources, you guys know that shop.nasaspaceflight.com. That's an awesome resource for getting really cool merch. Look at what I did. Look at me. Look at me.
I'm doing the thing.
Look at me. I'm doing merch plugs now, Morty. I'm doing the merch. I'm doing the merch plugs now. Actually, speaking of that, there's a store message. A guy named Steve just pulled one of your prints, Max. There's all kinds of metal prints, all kinds of good stuff on there. We got shirts. We got the rapidly reusable tote bag, which totally wasn't me naming that. There's all kinds of good stuff up there, guys. If you want to head over there and get some of Max's awesome prints. That sunrise one that's on there, Max. That was like this morning, wasn't it?
That was quite literally this morning. Yeah, that was the third flight in 13 hours, and under 13 hours that the SpaceX was able to pull off. Starlink 12-16. We talked about it briefly this morning, but there's not much to go on about. It's a Starlink mission, not a ton to report on, but launched literally as the sun was rising, and you can see the image behind me that was taken this morning. Sunrise, it's always fun getting a transit. And also, it's not Julia also has a print in the store that's also from this morning. It's not just me. There's also D, Julia, Sawyer, Jack. We all have prints in there, so it's not just me. So feel free to check all them out as well. And that is also the easiest and the quickest way to support all of us here at NSF who are creating content for either streams or for the store, is to pick up one of these and stick it on your wall. We are all very, very, very appreciative of that as well. So, yeah, but that was fun this morning. That was a lot of fun. Here's one from Sawyer yesterday with Dragon Endurance on Falcon 9 with passing by the good old American flag.
Yeah,
it beat a flag shot.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
It makes me feel feelings.
It makes me feel feelings.
Yeah. Bald eagle feelings. It's pretty good. Actually, Max, is that sunset shot's your background, is it not? Like, wait a minute.
Sunrise.
And there's also a There's
What's the
also
difference?
another Max print as well,
Woof.
Yes.
Woof.
which
What?
is also at that
Woof. That's
woof?
pretty. It's pretty good.
What?
It's pretty
woof,
good.
as in that woof. Yeah, no, it's an amazing shot.
I feel
Right
like with
one.
the shot, Max, like you should have some sunglasses on, and like the Miami Vice theme should be playing or something.
There
No?
you go.
Yeah,
Yep.
my guy.
Yeah, there
my
you
guy.
go.
My guy.
Is that better, EJ?
Yep. Oh yeah, it's
Yep.
better. I can
Cool.
hear the Vice City music now. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Oh wait. Oh, we don't want to get. We don't want to get.
No, we don't want that to happen.
Camelot. It's only a
Yeah,
model.
there you
Shh,
go.
shh, shh, shh.
Max looking cooler than the rest of us.
Yep. Mm-hmm. He's Max is photo maxing. He's photo maxing in 2025. Oh no! I got a boo for that.
Got him.
Come on, man. Oh. Yeah, look at that shot.
Oh, goodness gracious.
All right, sorry. All right, cool. All right. So, let's see what we got. Do we have there is a little bit of support here. A little bit of support down there. Wilbo Baggins with support repeat. £2. Thank you very much. And then Ellie Mary, what do you got? You got another £2. Loving the Saturday Flame Trench. Yeah, we're not even supposed to be here today. It smells like shoe polish. So okay.
Do you guys smell burnt toast?
No, just shoe polish.
Okay.
Oh, you got axed.
I got axed.
How's that feel? Yeah, that feels.
I mean,
feels
you
bad.
also got axed, so you can't really be speaking, EJ.
Well, I'm the
Hey.
host, though. I can do what I want. They're winners, Chip. Winners get to do what they want.
Until Carson tells you no.
Well, but, all right, fine. Oh, that hurt. Stop doing that.
It's
Anyway.
like getting tased.
Yeah. No. Don't. Okay. All right. Ryan, Starship's your baby. Tell us what's going on, dude.
I was going to say, speaking of things not getting axed yet, or maybe
What?
not getting axed at all.
What?
Bro, Starship's never getting axed.
Not
Jeez.
Starship. You know what? Can you let me? Okay.
Hey, you just don't turn off the Starship, all right?
Yeah. So
Nothing is over. Nothing.
Despite the failure on Flight 8 and the possible issues with the engine plumbing and a whole host of who knows what else, SpaceX has pushed ahead. They have cryoed Ship 35 and it's back in Mega Bay 2. They have finished stacking Ship 36, and as we saw just before we went live, Ship 37 partially completed on its the nose cone and its payload bay were rolled into Mega Bay 2 to get sleeved with its Pez. That might be because of well, they're going to close down that part of Star Factory because SpaceX can't have we can't have nice things with SpaceX. They like to just demolish things. So
We have all sorts of nice things from SpaceX. What are you talking about?
True. But it is kind of interesting. I think SpaceX is just pushing ahead right now. They're just trying to get as far as they can with these ships. Whether or not they know if they can retrofit any things onto them, as a result of the failure on Flight 7 and Flight 8. It's going to be kind of interesting to see because if it can't be retrofitted, that means 35 and 36 are scrap. But of course, we're not there yet. So, let's hope we don't go there, which means that because the next flight would be delayed by a decent amount, just to say the least. But I'm hoping they can retrofit a change onto those transfer tubes and the prop system on Block 2. It's a fun engineering challenge having to combat harmonic resonance. It's not easy, especially when it's really, really hard to test it on the ground. But we're going to be waiting to see what SpaceX does over the next couple of weeks. If they're still following Ship 34's timeline, 35 could be ready for a static fire in about 2 weeks. So I think we'll have to watch out for that.
So
And the booster,
that
yeah.
could mean that we're in for another minute plus long static fire.
that the static fire doesn't really do anything though.
But a longer one, maybe.
I don't think they're going to do a longer one, dudes. I think the best way to get a long duration burn on one of these things is to send it, and that's why we saw Flight 8 blow up.
So
what do you think?
When you
also, there's this.
Yeah, I saw that.
Whoopsies.
Whoopsies. Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, it could just be a new position that was added. It doesn't have to mean someone got fired. We're just jumping to conclusions, but it is quite interesting timing, I guess we could say.
Yeah, so guys, if you didn't see this, then sorry, I don't mean to interject. I was like, Carson, put this up, it's applicable. And he's like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry. Anyway, so SpaceX had a job posting for a propulsion engineer, specifically dealing with plumbing on the ships. As Ryan was saying a little bit earlier, that is the exact problem. At least we're suspecting, based off of what we heard from SpaceX, that's the exact problem that SpaceX seems to be encountering here. I don't know, Max. I mean, you said it's bad timing. I don't know.
It's interesting timing.
Interesting
timing.
Yeah, that's right. Ryan, what do you think about this? You think they haven't figured it out and they're like, oh man, we really screwed up? Or do you think it's like, okay, we found a way to mitigate this, but maybe down the road we get a better version?
Well, what they did on Block 2, so originally it was a single transfer tube going down, and then at the bottom we basically had three pipes that separated out from the bottom of that transfer tube. Mm-hmm. Each of those pipes went to a separate RVAC. That's how they did it before. On Block 1. Now, on Block 2, they basically took that pipe, same diameter, is what it's from what we can tell, same diameter, and they stretched it and vacuum jacketed it and took it all the way up the LOX tank, all the way to the common dome. It might be a little bit too spindly, and it might be vibrating, especially once there's no LOX anymore in that tank to deaden. Because I don't know, when you stick something in a bunch of fluid, it kind of acts like a good vibration damper. And when you lose all that fluid, you lose your vibration damper. And these failures are happening once the LOX tank is nearly empty at the end of the ascent burn. My guess is what's happening is those have got like a shake to them and are vibrations. Because they either aren't structurally strong enough or they don't have enough reinforcements. They aren't, as far as we can tell, they're not tied to the tank wall like the booster one is. The booster literally has wires that go from the transfer tube to the wall of the tank to basically kind of hold it in place. But and then, they have these vibrations, and then along with the engine vibrations and everything else, something hits a resonance in a snap of a finger and can break something loose, break a line, and then when you go back and look at Flight 8, there is it's like T plus 7 minutes 50 seconds. They do that cut to the engine section where you see that hot spot on the RVAC. The other thing you can see is a gigantic fire that's spread throughout that engine bay. Because they're not dumping gas. They are literally dumping gallons of liquid oxygen into the attic and engine bay. Because at that altitude, it just turns into a gas and can have other gas catch fire. They're just dumping it down there. That's basically what's happening. That needs to get fixed, obviously. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how they do it. Now, with that being, the issue, because they're leaking a bunch, this job posting gets a little kind of interesting. Was it because someone, I don't know, I don't really know if someone got fired, or is it because they're looking for, more ideas or something like that? We don't know if it means that they don't know what's going on. Maybe they just put another job posting up. It could mean nothing. It could also mean everything.
But it's also worth noting that the V2 ship as a whole is nowhere near where they want it. V2 still has a long way to go in its development, especially its Q is ultimately designed to eventually utilize the Raptor 3 design. Like Raptor 3 is not specifically for version 3. And mind you, we are running on some of the last Raptor 2s out there that are made as SpaceX moves into Raptor 3 production. So this,
I think they
Go
got
ahead,
a lot
Ryan.
more Raptor 2s than we think they do. We were seeing numbers in the 540s
okay,
or whatnot on even Booster 15. That still means that you need at least 66 engines to
Mhm.
go on to Booster 16 and Booster 17.
Yep.
Not to mention the other ships that they got to do. The highest number we have seen is 569. That was as part of the Raptor 3 announcement when they did the comparison between it's Raptor 2 number 569. That's the last one we've seen. I'm assuming they're into the 600s now, well into the 600s, possibly even the 700s. I don't know what their process is of what engines they use, what engines they don't use, but I would assume we are well into the 600s at this point. I don't think Raptor 2 is an issue, but in terms of where Raptor 3 is going to go, I don't think it's going to go on this type of ship. I think the ship that it'll go on will be it's like a version 2, it's like a 2.5 or 3. Basically, whenever they nail down the Block 2 design, so whenever they have the transfer tubes figured out, they have their plumbing figured out, heat shields figured out, they'll extend the ship a little bit more. So maybe extend it by 10 meters and stick 3 more RVACs in there. And that'll be your Block 3. If they want to extend it more, they'll extend it more down the line. But I think that's what they'll need. I think that's what they're going to do. And of course, in order to launch that thing, you're going to need a booster with Raptor 3 because at that point, that ship becomes too heavy for a Block 1 booster to launch. At least not at the thrust to weight ratio they would want. We'll just put it that way.
Don't pull an NG1.
Yeah. So
whoops. So Ryan, you think they're gonna completely redesign the ship? You think this is actually a question from Sirat? I'll put it up here. Assuming a repeat of Flight 7 and 8 results scatters debris all over the Caribbean. Will SpaceX have to scrap the current Block 2 design? Will the FAA step in? When are we going to see Block 3? Do you think we're going to see a Block? You think they're going to be like, Block 2? No, just finish the ones we have. We'll make when do you think that's in the pipe, dude?
So FAA stepping in, the FAA stepping in is requiring a mishap investigation. That's all that is. They had a mishap, they had an anomaly, and the FAA is requiring them to do a mishap investigation. If you want to call that the FAA stepping in. But in terms of the current Block 2 ship designs like Ship 35 and Ship 36, which are the only 2 completed Block 2 ships, we don't really know what the fix is. The fix could be something as simple as adding reinforcements from the transfer tubes to the tank wall, and that'll hinder the vibrations enough and get them maybe as a temporary fix until they redesign the aft a little bit for like 37, 38. I don't say 39 because I haven't seen any hardware for 39 in like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where that ship is or what that ship is doing. We'll just put it that way. It is kind of odd. They're into tiling 38, and we haven't really. We think we saw the methane header tank of 39, but that's it. We haven't seen a new nose cone pop up in 3 months. Basically.
Okay, all right. I got an interesting question here.
Yeah.
You think they're not? You think we haven't seen Ship 39 put tiles on it because maybe it doesn't have tiles in the design?
Well, I'm saying we haven't seen hardware period. We haven't even seen a nose cone for 39.
Oh, okay.
There's a chance that 39 could be that Block 3 ? That stretched Block 2. But if I'm them, if I were working at SpaceX, I'd go, let's figure out Block 2 before we try to stretch this more and go to Block 3. You've got a problem right now. You can't get past ascent phase. And for a rocket, if this was a re-entry issue, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't even, right now with the current ship design, they can't even deploy a payload. They can't because they can't get there. So they need to figure that out.
Mm-hmm. I was more alluding,
or even test the heat shield variations that they have on it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Once again, whether it's on 35 or they push it to 36, the heat shield team is going to have to go through and do that entire thing again for a third time.
Yeah, feel bad for those guys. They've
Same with
made-
those Starlink demos.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the Dumbling team. Sorry, boys. You'll get it though. You'll get it.
And it's one of those things. It's like there's a lot of questions up in the air on what SpaceX is going to have to do with this. But if there was any company I would bet on to figure it out, it's them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was another rocket that had a vibration issue with it, or monarch oscillation issue with it, which is Pogo, was Saturn V. They had it on Apollo 6. It took them 8 months again to fly. I don't think it'll take SpaceX that long. We've got our knowledge of rockets and computers and everything has advanced a lot since then. Do they fly again in what was it? Elon had said 4 to 6 weeks. No.
I think so.
They do that. I don't think they do it that quick.
You think so?
Maybe 2 months.
Yeah.
I mean, they could. The real question is we don't know. They might have a fix. There's an entire possibility they already have a fix for it because they learned a lot more from Flight 8. It's entirely possible, and they are getting far. They're getting this far on these ships, and they're going to retrofit it. It's entirely possible, but we just don't know.
I mean,
because it's all behind. It's all in Mega Bay 2, so we can't see them work on it.
Yeah.
So.
They were under a minute from Seco on Flight 8, so they got a little bit farther into flight than they did on Flight 7, so there's that much more data to compare to what they have on Flight 7. So, yeah, for all we know, they very well could already have a fix, or at least an idea of fixes in mind for either Ship 35 and or Ship 36. But I still can't shake the feeling or the idea that Raptor 2 in particular doesn't have anything to do with this. Like, I know, Ryan, you said that you were confident that Raptor 2 was a non-issue. It's the one... well, it isn't the one variable. It's a brand new ship, but...
When you look...
Go ahead.
When you look at the Block 2 ship, and you look at the issues they're having, you go to the cause, which is the leaks. And then you go through Block 2 ship and you go, okay, what's the biggest thing that they changed in regards to the propellant plumbing? Well, it's the transfer tubes. But there is also the thing that Raptor has had a leak problem from the start. A lot of times it's from the attachment point. As far as I know, it's the attachment point to the actual dome itself is what's been leaking a lot. It also comes with the fact that you're running an engine at such a high pressure and you have seals. Seals aren't always perfect, especially when you run it at such a high pressure. Now, some of those should be fixed with Raptor 3. I don't know about the mount, the leaks at the mount. But the Raptor has always had a leak problem. This goes all the way back to Starhopper, even all the way back to SN5, SN6. You could see fires in that. You could see some fires going off in that engine bay just from leaks from methane. They've had an issue with this, and it's a thing they got to solve. Will they? Yeah, they will. I mean, it takes a lot of time. When, as EJ said, this is iterative design. You know, you try a fix, see if it works. If it doesn't, you try something else. They'll get it. It's the other thing of this is the most complicated rocket system anyone's ever tried to design before. Let's be honest here. I mean, just the size of the. I don't think people really understand the size of that LOX tank on Starship.
It's
those
big.
Those transfer tubes are about as long as the ones on Saturn, the S1C stage. Like, this isn't like, oh, it's a small little rocket. No,
ship is huge, and so are the problems that come with it when they arise. Like, they're not small issues, and it's also having to retrofit an old engine design to work with a new ship design, which is while the older style engine has finished production, but they have to make it work on that old engine style until Raptor 3 is up and ready to fly. So, and also I'm sure again, ship two Block is nowhere near where they want it to be, so they have a long way to go on that front as well in terms of optimizing weight, optimizing performance, optimizing heat shield and flap design. They think they had that solved, but again, they haven't gotten far enough into flight to really test if they've achieved what they wanted to. So, yeah, Block 2 has certainly not had the easiest start to life, I guess we could say.
Now, fellas, actually, I'm curious to get your opinions on this. I'm just listening to what you said, and now I got other questions. Like, Ryan, you said at the beginning when we first started talking about, Starship, when we get, kind of the Starship portion of the flame trench, if you will. You were talking about, in that footage, you can see fire. You could see the fire, like that footage on the back of the Starship, looking at the engines, you see fire everywhere, right? Now, refresh my memory, did we see fire in that spot during Flight 7? I seem to recall Flight 7, the fire kind of being in the attic area, and we're seeing some flames propagating out of the wings, right? Like,
we didn't, because we didn't really get a shot of the engine section during that time. So I'm willing to bet money they also had a fire in the engine section on Flight 7. They just never showed it. I think the extra vents and the nitrogen, I think the extra vents might have helped slightly. I didn't even really know how much it helps, because when you're at that altitude, there's basically no atmosphere. And when you look at that picture, you can see what are small mock diamonds from the sea level engines. You really shouldn't be able to see that at that altitude.
It's a good point.
There's a lot of outgassing there. The only way you see that is if you have a massive amount of gas that's basically allowing something to be compressed. Like, you shouldn't be able to see that.
I mean, but you can, and there are 3 Raptor vacuum engines on the edge of the sea levels, which could provide enough pressure to see mock diamonds from the sea level. So that's probably not an issue in itself. That's just the way it's been designed. And also, if they're going to throw on 3 more RVACs, like that's going to be those mock diamonds are going to be even more pronounced.
Look at that
you
fire.
Can just see the amount of outgassing. You should not be able to see that prominent of a mock diamond.
Well, the reason why I bring it up is because I'm wondering if the last test, I mean, you said there's definitely fire in the aft section on Flight 7, but see, I'm wondering if, maybe it moved from the attic to the engine bay here. Like, maybe they solved the problem where they were getting leaks at the attic, and maybe this was in the engine bay, and that's why they had a problem here, because they just actually pushed the problem downstream, Now I'm wondering, because SpaceX, the point that I'm trying to get, like, this is kind of the overarching thing where I'm trying to go with this. Mm-hmm. It very much seems like they're not slowing down. Like, there's no doubt that this is kind of a gut punch, right? Flight 8 blowing up, right? But I'm almost wondering if it's like, okay, that's what happened. We pushed it downstream, fix that, and then go. Because clearly they're not deterred by this. Mm-hmm. Like, this isn't even... I'm not even seeing like we saw Ship 35 roll back to the production site after testing it at Massey's like yesterday or something. Like it's been a crazy day. Like, they're clearly not deterred. So maybe they just push the problem downstream and they have the fix. Like, that's the only reason why I bring it up. Oh gosh, that footage of the ship tumbling out of control.
I mean,
well, go ahead, Max.
For a company like them that wants to achieve the cadence that they want to, and in order to achieve what they've been contractually obligated to do on HLS, you need to be able to fly a lot, and you have to be able to push through these problems with the hardware you already have and be able to fix what you need to iteratively as it comes. So, like, you can't stop. There is no stopping. There is no stopping the SpaceX machine. Like, you have to keep going. There is no other choice. There is no out here. There is no big pause to sort your design for hardware that's already built. You have to make do with what you have, and perhaps in fixing the hardware that you already have that may already have the issues baked into it with that old design, you learn something new in trying to fix that for future ships. So you can't stop. Stopping is literally not an option.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I thought they might do is they might not finish stacking 36 for a little bit. Like they might pause putting that aft out, but while they take a little bit longer look at it to decide, because if they did have to maybe redo the aft section, then you wouldn't have had it already stacked inside. You wouldn't have already stacked on 36. So I think that would have been the only thing I could have seen them do. But it looks like they're just going full steam ahead. They're not really even stopping. So it's they're just gonna go ahead with it, and I'm curious to see what fix they come up with. And can 35 get to reentry? Can we see the awesome views from the forward flaps for reentry on 35? I hope to God we do. I want to see how those ship pins withstand reentry.
Yep.
There's a lot of things I want to see. I hope we get it. It's one of those things, like if they really lose a third, the same thing. I don't know where you are at that point. Does I don't know how much that changes things. The biggest issue with losing these is it pushes your timelines. You're not getting the flight reentry data you need. You're not getting closer to catching a ship. You're not getting closer to on orbit docking and refilling. You're not getting there. You're pushing everything down the road because you can't get the data you need on these ships. So, it's one of those things, and it's going to be interesting to watch the program over the next couple of weeks to see if 35 does go out and just static fire, or what kind of static fire they do. I'm kind of curious
because at one point in time, Flight 8 was going to be the attempt to catch the ship. Then Flight 7 happened, and then we all presumed, okay, Flight 9, and then Flight 8 was like, okay, we are at least like at least 2 flights out now from a potential ship catch. And the more this happens, the more that gets pushed, unless they get into the ultimate like F-it mode and just send a V2 ship orbital first time, which is not, I guess, recommended, or that might be wildly frowned upon. But like, again, we aren't there yet. They haven't lost a third Block 2 yet, and we haven't even seen if it works yet. So you have to fly it to learn it. That's basically where they're at.
I think at this point, and what I think is the best thing to do is, assuming 35 is successful, whether or not they do the heat shield. Say they don't do the heat shield experiments on 35, they just launch 35, make sure it's fixed, get it to reentry, use a fully complete Block 2 heat shield, get the data out of that. Then you take 36 and you do all the experiments on it, and you do another suborbital flight, and then it's flight 11 that you go for the catch. So that you've got 2 Block 2 ships. You've got one with all the experiments on board and the missing tiles, and you've got one clean sheet, full heat shield, and you compare the two, how they both fared, and then you figure out whatever changes you need to make it to, I guess, ship 37 it would be at that point, and then go for a catch. Or something like that. They may end up doing that at this point. I mean, I think that would be the better choice, rather than trying to just re-enter and then go for a catch right away. Or maybe they don't go for catch, but they go to orbit and they re-enter over the Gulf rather than over the Indian Ocean. That they could do that too, or something along those lines. But
I like that idea.
Yeah,
I like that idea. We should do that.
Yeah.
I like this plan. I'm happy to be a part of it. Let's do it.
We'd have great views from Starbase, hopefully, if that happens.
Absolutely, right?
They'll fix it. It's just a matter of time. And the more thing about the whole thing is it stinks to see another ship lost that way. And I mean, you could
that one stung.
You could really see it on Dan's face on the SpaceX stream. You could really see it as kind of like, dang it. But it happens. We'll move on.
Yeah. Actually, over in the Twitch chat, one of my buddies, Rocket Guy over there, is saying a third failure in a row would be problematical. Even a 60-day downtime is 10% of their schedule to get HLS going and hit their current Mars transfer window plans. If another one pops, I think we could very well see Starship be the bottleneck for Artemis, which is very strange to even think about. That's a humdinger. isn't it?
That's a humdinger.
That's a humdinger.
Yeah.
Jeez.
As I
That's a
was
good point,
saying,
Rocket.
the biggest issue with, because if they didn't have the if there wasn't the Artemis program with this, or really, basically SpaceX is disrupting their own plans to get to Mars. That's really all this is disrupting is timelines. If they do lose another, then I think any hope of trying to send anything to Mars in the 2026 window is gone. Like, it's just gone. That's not happening. I even think that's even highly unlikely at this point, because you right now to refill a single Starship with the current with the current setup they've got is like, and that's assuming they have a tanker version, it's like 15 flights. They have only done 8 total. So yeah, good luck. Good luck getting that done in 2026. I'm
Right.
thinking it's 28 at the earliest, 28 or 29, whichever is the window is. I don't remember what the exact window all now is. It's every 26 months, but it's like, yeah, I honestly think the first time they'll be able to send something to Mars is 2028.
I think that's
There's
realistic.
no way they're ready for 26. I just don't know.
I mean, they might just send something to Mars.
They
and it
They
blows
could
up
try
on
to
the way.
eat
Like,
something at Mars. I don't
I
know.
honestly, I would not put it past them to put something together to just yeet it out with minimal expectations. I would not put that past them at all. Just to say they've tried and to say they've done it. So
I mean,
you can't rule them out.
It wouldn't hurt
Like
to put.
it's not exactly what maybe we'd want to see in terms of the actual like later progress that we want out of Starship, or what NASA wants to see, or what others. But like, if they can get something out there and get something flown, that's a win in itself. So I wouldn't put it past them at all.
Get a stripped down ship in orbit with some kind of prototype radiation shielding, maybe some prototype Eclipse system. I don't know. Throw all your prototype stuff on it, chuck it at Mars, and get as much data as you can before it just kind of flies off into the solar system out and away.
I also like this plan.
I mean, it's not even just a Mars test. Like if you do putting aside 2026 Mars or what the window, how much would it help SpaceX if they put all their prototype Eclipse systems and whatever they have on deep space ships, chucked it on a ship, and just threw it out into space for data? How much would that help them in the long run if they can get there?
I mean, that's a bit like comparing apples to oranges because they operate much differently.
I mean, it's kind of an iterative design. You throw something on it. If it doesn't work, you try it. You throw another one thing. You just throw another one out there. I don't know. But
I like these ideas. I think these are good ideas. We should do more of this.
Stick like maybe 1 or 2 Optimus bots on it somehow just to test that out. Maybe.
Dude, the man himself said in the next transfer window, Starship's going with Optimus on it. The man himself, he said it. He said it.
He said it.
His words. He said it. Now you can't take it back.
Speaking
no
of needing,
no take backsies.
Speaking of needing to launch more, oh look, it's Pad B.
All right.
They are putting a metric whatever ton of rebar into that trench.
Yeah, baby.
They're gonna need it.
Yeah, I can't wait till they have a procession of concrete trucks to fill that thing up. It's gonna be nuts. It's probably gonna be like 300-400 trucks of concrete
Probably.
just to fill the floor.
How many?
That's not
yards
even
of
the
concrete?
walls.
Yeah, how many apples is that, Ryan?
No. Apples? What are you talking about?
Apple weight. How many apples is that?
I don't know.
About that many?
The amount of cubic feet of concrete is in a single concrete truck, and do the math.
Concrete is measured in yards, dudes.
Or cubic yards. Either way, do the math. But
Yards?
Never mind.
What are
It's
we
a lot.
fighting over?
I was about to say, what is that?
What are we fighting over, Carson?
Carson, ring that bell again.
Oh.
I just want. Oh, he did it. Just wanted to see if he'd do it.
I guess with all this, I want to ask you guys.
All right.
Maybe it's just me. I think the shorter sticks are kind of growing on me a little bit.
I like him. And after flight 5, 7, and 8, sure, shorter
They'll
sticks.
land them.
You can,
They'll
go
land
ahead,
it.
do
I
that.
never really had any doubt they'll land on them. They always just looked weird.
They look weird, but also consider the opinion people had about Block 2 and Block 3 ships while Block 1 was still flying. Like that's
Yeah,
what we're used
true.
to, and then that's where Starship started at. So like the way I approach it is like, does it work? Yes. Okay, then aesthetics means nothing, right? So it's like, okay, if that's what they think will work, then I guess we'll find out. But like, I think once the shorter sticks are proven, the first sticks on Pad A's tower will look just unnecessarily huge. Like they'll look like Block 1 does now, and it looks just retro and like just old.
I love retro.
retro chopsticks. Retro chopsticks.
That's the name of my D&B band.
Yeah,
Retro Chopsticks.
retro chopsticks.
Say it 3 times fast, Max. Do
That
it.
is a name of all time.
Yep.
It is a name of all time.
It is a name of all time.
But they're still working hard on this thing. It's gonna be a while before it's ready. And of course, the team that worked so hard to get those sticks as operational as possible, as quick as possible, they can now sit back, relax, and have a drink. It's gonna be a little bit before they're gonna be used to catch a ship at this point.
Yeah,
with
I'm not sure there's
couple
much
of
sitting back and
setbacks.
relaxing over at SpaceX. So
I'm
No,
pretty sure
but-
they probably sent those people to the Cape.
That pad team's probably just go for a jaunt into Mega Bay 2. So hey guys, how's it going? You busy? Like,
How you doing?
how's
Where's the ship at? Oh,
your Block 2 boosters coming along? Hmm?
yeah.
Okay. All right.
We calling it? That
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was good. That was some good discussion, guys.
That was some good trenching.
That was
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
that was good
trenching.
tension. Not bad for some
Trenching.
Saturday action. I think not bad for
Yeah.
some Saturday action. We're not even supposed to be here today.
We're not.
I just want to point out. I just want to remind everybody again.
We're not on overtime.
Yeah, exactly. You think Chris B pays us overtime? Come on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hi, Chris.
hi Chris.
He's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Fired.
What are you doing? Anyway, guys. Well, that's gonna do it for this week's Flame Trench. We will be back on Friday next week at the normal time. I hope you guys appreciated it. It was a good time. Are we gonna, like, Carson? How do we do this? Are we gonna do the gift things? Or are you gonna play us out? Like, do we have to thank everybody? Like, I think we should thank everybody.
Gifts today.
Man almost said frame trench.
Frame.
Man almost
Ugh.
said frame trench.
Yeah. We don't have any gifts.
No gifts today. LSR
No gifts today?
LSR is with the chopstick team
today,
taking a break. Sorry, now LSR probably hates me too. All right, so okay. I'd like to thank everybody for popping in. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. You know, we just like sitting down having chats. Ryan, thank you for coming in, having a good time.
It's a pleasure as always. It's always fun to trench. Trenching's always fun.
Trenching is a fun time. Speaking of fun times, Mr. Max, thank you for coming.
I think that was way too kind, EJ.
All right. Speaking
it was-
of dumpsters, Max, thanks for coming.
Speaking of dumpsters,
Oh, gee, yeah, he's mocking me now. He's mocking me
I
now,
am.
Chad.
I am.
So
that's
this is what I
when
have
knew
to deal
lost
with.
The battle, but thank you very much, everyone, for coming to hang out. It's been a pleasure as always, and we'll get back next week.
All right. Cool. And I am EJ, the person they put in charge of this. I host badly. It's a good time. But I also stream on Twitch, where I also host badly over there. Twitch.tv/EJ_SA. Hi, Twitch chat. I see you guys. You guys are cool. All right. And that is going to do it for us. We will be back next week at a regular time. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. Thank you very much for watching. Carson?
And here we go. We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be normal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Probably not. Roger, Atlantis. Flight outside FTE off. Say again, FTE off.
It's orange!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Décollage!
Put that in the big bag, Eagle.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
If there's methane, it'll be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. Keep red. Sure. We don't need any more of these.